Thank you so much, Secretary Padilla. Not only were we colleagues in the Senate together, we were seatmates. We sat next to each other. And yeah, what's that?
I used to copy your
Used to, yeah. Well, it went both ways. I just want to thank you for your leadership and your enthusiasm and your mission. Your mission to ensure that young people recognize the importance of voting and to open the doors and to make it so much easier to register and to vote. And you're right, that number 200,000 is outstanding. You're going to hear from Superintendent Gordon, Superintendent Evans, about how well we're doing here in Sacramento County. Our numbers are in the thousands. And we'll take your challenge. And we'll double it, or more than double it, here in Sacramento County. And so we're talking with young people here. And so my message is very, very simple. I've been involved in public life for many, many years now. And I once sat, like all of us sat, in your seat. And never could have imagined that we would be in these positions of responsibility. And believe me, that you will be in our positions sooner than you think. But it starts now. A friend of mine, an old mentor, used to describe to me the two kinds of people in community and public life, and it's always stuck with me. You know, there's a lot of things to be concerned about, and a lot of things to be mad about, and a lot of things to be worried about. And so you have a choice. You can either be a person that gets mad and decides that you're going to get involved for a very short while, and then when you realize that it's hard, that change doesn't always happen as quickly as we want it to, those folks check out and never to be heard from again when it comes to community life and public life. And then there are those who decide to make a lifetime commitment in one way or another. And there's so many ways to make that commitment, by the way. Being elected or appointed isn't the only way. Just being active. There are those who choose, regardless of the pitfalls, regardless of the ups and downs, the back and forth, the wins and losses, how hard it is, how disappointing it is, there are those who choose to be long-termers and make a lifetime commitment. And I hope for you and for California and for this country that you choose to be long-termers. And there is no more important demonstration of being a long-termer than to vote. Not just once, but to vote every election and to never miss an election. And when you have friends or family members who say, it's too hard, or I don't have time, to insist that they register to vote as well. Because if you don't register, if you don't vote, if your family and friends don't vote, you then are leaving the decisions about the future of your community and your country to somebody else. And I'll bet you that those who are leaving it to probably won't agree with you on everything and might have a very different point of view about the world. Make sure your voice is heard. Be long-termers. This is a fantastic start here. And I'm proud of Secretary Padilla and what he's doing throughout the state, and I'm very proud of our county and our school districts. And I'm proud of you because you're here today and showing that we adults can have rightful hope in the future because you're choosing to get involved. Thank you very much. I'd like to turn it over now to the superintendent, county superintendent of public instruction, who oversees all of the school districts here in the greater Sacramento area, my friend, great leader, Dave Gordon. Okay?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and to you young people, I would say it's up to you. You'll be in charge of your future and our future, not us. It's going to be up to you. I want to say a special thank you to the Secretary of State and our mayor. They have been fabulous leaders in setting up programs like the early registration. you being able to go out and work at the polls and help with that process. They've done an enormous amount of good for our state in putting those systems in place. So thank you. I also want to give a shout out to our local school districts and their superintendents, their leaders. Superintendent Evans, our other superintendents in the county. I'm here to tell you that 32 of our schools over the past couple of years have registered thousands of students, many of whom are ready to go and ready to vote right now, and we aim to make that every high school in the county doing the very same thing. It's going to make a tremendous difference. Thomas Jefferson said at the founding of our republic, and I think you're going to find out what you're responsible for, is this is a great country, but it doesn't stay that way on automatic pilot. We have to tend to it, and we have to make sure that our freedoms stay intact. And Thomas Jefferson said, and reminded us way back when our country was founded, that this country is not governed by the majority. That may not sound right to you because you've been told the country's governed by the majority. It's governed by the majority who participate, Jefferson said. And to Mayor Steinberg's point, please get out there, participate, help your friends, help your parents understand the importance of voting, and most of all, take in your heart the responsibility to say, we have to participate in order to keep our country great. Thank you very much.
Next, for a few words, I want to introduce someone who's no stranger to all the leaders in our state government, Carolyn Hill-Hunter, here in the capacity as Director of the Sacramento chapter of Links.
Good afternoon. My name is Carolyn Hill-Hunter, and I'm co-chair of the National Trends Committee of the Sacramento chapter of the Links. I'm proud to serve as the lead in an organizational effort we've dubbed the Sacramento Area BSU Voter Outreach Education and Registration Project with Black Student Union organizations at area high schools. With all the various issues impacting our state and our city and our nation today, we decided that if we were going to make a difference, we had to start at the ballot box, and made voter registration of the youth the centerpiece of our project. The Links are joined in this effort by a tremendous group of community partners that I must take the time to name. The Sacramento branch of the NAACP, the Greater Sacramento Urban League, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Sigma Pi Phi Fraternity, also known as the Boulay, Jack and Jill of America, and KJ2 Productions. With this group of partners, it's enabled us to expand our reach and scope of our registration efforts. We thought it important to take our message directly to the students in their own environment and on their own time. So we reached out to BSU advisors at the schools to ask if they would allow us to come in and speak to the students during their regularly scheduled BSU meetings, to talk to them about the importance of voting, and more importantly, how important it is that they engage in voting. So we're meeting the students at their level and registering them online with their cell phones on the Secretary of State's website. We know that many of the students are not yet 18, so we're also pre-registering the 16-year-olds so they're ready to go when they're eligible to vote. We're also asking the students to join the National NAACP Power of 5 campaign and use social media to share the message with their classmates, with their family, and take voter registration cards home and register family, friends, and neighbors, and make sure at least 5 people register to vote. Take 5 people to the polls and maybe volunteer 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days in their local campaigns. Today at lunch we hosted a session at Grant High School, and later this week and in the coming weeks will be at Cosumnes Oaks, Natomas, Laguna Creek, Christian Brothers, Rosemont, and Jesuit. We're continuing to work with additional high school BSU advisors to get other schools to come on before the October 22nd registration deadline. The Sacramento chapter of the Links could not have embarked upon this ambitious project without the support and assistance of the community partners shown on this poster. We all had voter registration as part of our goals for the year, but we could not have put the mark that we've done without working collectively together. And we're using the hashtag SacBSUvotes.com, SacBSUvotes. So we're happy to be here today and part of this effort. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to some of the student innovators here at Leroy Green.
Hello, my name is Star.
My name's Alyssa.
And we go to Leroy Green Academy. We believe that, I believe that it is important to vote because I believe that everybody has a voice that is given to them and that it should be heard for all people to hear. Today we learned in leadership how to train our fellow students who are 16 years old and above to be able to register to vote. Later on this week, we will host a training during advisory to be able to give the chance to students so they can be able to vote.
Yeah, this is important because it doesn't just better ourselves, but it betters our community. It helps us create an environment that's good for ourselves and future generations to come. Thank you.
That was great. And before we open it up to any questions y'all may have, just one last reminder. I see a lot of future voter stickers in the audience. I think you've registered to vote or have pre-registered to vote. We have a table here with volunteers where we can sign you up, answer any questions you may have. But I know that each and every one of you has maybe a brother or a sister at home, a cousin, a neighbor, a friend who's not here right now but is eligible. Send them to registertovote.ca.gov. If you have a driver's license or a state ID, it's easy to do online. It takes about 2 minutes, but you want to get them signed up so that if they're 18 before November, they can cast a ballot in this election. If they're not 18 by this November, they'll be ready to go for the next election. With that, thank you all. Let's open up to any questions for the press. Unless we answered it all. We got it covered en español. Muy buenas tardes, estamos aquí participando en el Día Nacional de Registrar Votantes, no solo con el mensaje de la importancia de inscribirse para votar y votar en cada elección, pero también celebrando el éxito de un programa aquí en el estado de California donde permitimos que jóvenes de 16 y 17 años se pueden preinscribir para votar. Desde el principio del programa, más de 200,000 jóvenes se han registrado para votar y la mitad de ellos, más de 100,000, han cumplido los 18 y están listos para votar este noviembre. Es un nivel de participación muy impresionante y muy poderoso y queremos seguir con este éxito en las elecciones que vienen. How's that?
In what time frame did the 200,000 come from?
So the semi-full chronology is the September 2016, just before the November 2016 elections, is when pre-registration was launched. At the time, though, all it was the addition of a little box on the paper form. Soon thereafter, as the newest secretary said, we got to bring this online, right? Because we got to meet young people where they are, and increasingly that's in the digital space. So in April of 2017 is when we announced that you could do it online. In April of 2018, we started a very similar press conference to what we're doing here today and announced that we hit 100,000. That was just a handful of months ago. And I issued a challenge. Can we get another 100,000 before the November election? And we have. We've touched the 200,000 marker, as many more as we can by this November. I'm going on a limb here, making my staff nervous. Can we get to 500,000 by November 2020? I know we can.
Can you talk about the challenges? Registering as a 16-year-old is great, but how do you convince them to show up to the polls 2 years later?
Right. Well, the wisdom, I think the beauty of getting 16 and 17-year-olds to sign up. How many of you here are in your senior year? A couple of you, juniors and sophomores, the rest of you, right? So I remember my senior year. I wasn't thinking too much about registering to vote. I was thinking about how am I going to play for the prom, or how am I going to get into college and pay for college. So when you get it out of the way at 16 or 17, you know, you're automatically on the list. When you turn 18, you start getting the voter information guide, you get the sample ballot from the county, and you start getting the communications from candidates and campaigns who make it part of the process. That's going to lead to more people voting. This is the first cycle that we have, the full complete cycle of pre-registration. And if the energy and excitement and the very pointed questions I get at high schools throughout the state of California is any indicator, I know we're going to see them at the polls. I have no doubt.
How many eligible 16, 17-year-olds do we have in California?
Muchísimos.
I know, but
the exact number, I don't know, but there's a lot. So 200,000 in, a lot more to go. All right, thank you all very much. Let's get into the shade.
Press folks, we have representatives from Elk Grove Unified School District, Sacramento City Unified School District, and Natomas Unified School District to talk about their individual efforts at the district level. Then we have the League of Women Voters over here as well. They've done some excellent work complementing the work done by the county themselves. So definitely take a moment.
Yeah, do you want to use that?
Yeah, let's use that. But you're the one saying this is broken. Yeah.
I think they're going to do some student registration right now, so you can get a good video of that. Yeah. Oh, and Jana from the county is here as well. About they do the mock elections at the school sites. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the anomaly.
It's admirable. It's a lot of work.
Oh, okay.
I like some of my own stories. And I infrequently turn on something. Usually I do it on the side.
It's not. Technology helps nowadays, but
Nonetheless,
yeah. Been doing it for a long time though. It's a one-man band, so yeah.
Yes. Quick here, and then we'll do that, and then Dave, can you wait 1 minute? Yeah, no. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
This guy 15 years ago. Oh yeah. I don't remember. Money Wong?
Oh, no, the camera.
Oh.
Take a picture, you guys.
Thank you so much.
They're over here. Those poor kids are roasted.
Hey, Alex, how are you? Where's
You guys, still nice, doing some kind of math equation.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Should we talk on the
Yeah, we're gonna walk out.
Thank you. I'll see you back at the office.
Secrets. No secrets. How are you?
Mike, do you want?
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening. No, I didn't. And then Connor's out on a big truck, so I couldn't have him. Connor, the other sound technician. Yeah. So I couldn't have him. Super cute. I had to make a choice. I don't know if you know. Super energetic. Yeah, he's here. He goes to school here. No, he ran out earlier. It's a nice break.
I thought most of the saying about